Hi, Owen Everard here. Just going to go through the fitness valuation form quite quickly. But just to say, this isn't something that I'm going to be grading you on. This is just something to look at certain aspects that make up fitness and health and see where you can improve yourself. Okay, so you can see there's your current score and then there's your ideal score. So the first one, and there's 4 categories. So you can kind of be very bad in a category or very good in a category. So the first one is kind of related to sleep and your daily energy levels. So if you are continually tired because I never seem to get enough rest and I sleep less than 6 hours, give yourself between a 1 and a 3, depending on how close that is. If that's less than 6 hours, you're going to be closer to 1. If it's 6 hours, just about, give yourself maybe a 3/4. The next one is I'm tired more often than I'd like and usually use the weekends to recover from a long week. I sleep around 7 hours. So if that sounds like you, well then, you might give yourself a 4, 5 or 6, depending on how close that is. Okay, and then the next one, so it's kind of like poor, average, good, very good. Next one, most of the time energy is not a problem. I feel energized several times each week and feel rested enough to take on most every task. I sleep more than 7 hours of good quality sleep. So if that's you in general, you might be, close to a 9. And then between 10, 11 and 12 as I get plenty of sleep, feel energized all day long, and usually the person friends say that they wish they had as much energy as. Okay, so you put your score here and then you put like where you'd want to be. And again, okay, could be something that you prioritize. So you could be like maybe a 7, but you want to get to a 10. You felt like, think I had generally plenty of energy, felt energized, I'd be delighted. I'm probably not going to need to get to a 12. So that's probably going to take a little bit more effort. So the second thing then is daily activity and work. I'm relatively sedentary. My recreational activities rarely, if ever, involve physical activity. My work involves sitting for 8 hours. Now, why this is important is because if you have a very sedentary job and your activities you don't do much in your activities, well then what you're going to need to do is have a lot more structure in your actual training, because you're not going to get an exercise anywhere else. Okay, so that's where you might need to be exercising maybe 5 or 6 times a week in a structured capacity. If you were, say, walking occasionally or work in your garden so that's poor, do some physical work, but it's very inconsistent, you might give yourself a 4, 5 or 6. You'd be good if you're both physically active with things like, garden work and tasks around the house, and you engage in physical recreation, like you might go for a hike or you walk the dog, just as another activity, not including your actual sport. And then your job might be active as well. And then an excellent would be 10, 11, 12. I love the outdoors, being active, swimming, walking, hiking. So if you do very active job, you have an active job and you have active recreation, you're up here. And again, it's not about like trying to get to a 12 here. It's recognizing what you're weak at. If you're like, look, my job is sitting 8 hours a day, and I come home and I like just sitting out watching TV or doing things. It's not like you have to go do the garden or all. I'm just saying there now, if that is you, well then what you need to do is make sure that you have structured training. Okay, so you might have to go train 5, 6 times a week because you do nothing else in the week. Do you know that way? Where if you have someone else who's constantly, I have a friend, he's a farmer, and his job, like, some runners, elite runners, this guy is, they would train twice a day. Sometimes they go for a 30-minute easy run in the end. But professional runners don't really do anything. They just get up, eat breakfast, go training, sleep, and then they go for another run just to kind of keep the metabolism up. He doesn't need to go for another run. If he gets 1 run a day, and he probably takes a rest day once a week because he has a very active job. So it's just being aware of your situation and your scenario. Okay, so the next one then is supportive nutrition. I pay no real attention to what I eat from a health perspective, would be poor, obviously. I'm attentive to my nutrition, but easily fall off track, often resulting in a feeling of guilt. That'd be average 4, 5 or 6, depending on how close that is. I make supportive nutrition choices about 3/4 of the time, planning most of my meals and usually making healthy choices when I eat out. I wouldn't even mind really if you were, like when I eat out, I always get dessert, take that as a treat. Just don't have treats in your house. I think that'd be a better idea. So I'd probably delete that one. But if you're eating well, about 3/4 of the time you go in here. And then good would be I plan almost all of my meals, eat plenty of lean proteins and vegetables, and only splurge on special occasions. So if that was me, just for an example, I would give myself a 10 there, because I do plan nearly all my meals. I eat really well, but I have dessert every Sunday. Okay, we'll be showing you some of the recipes, like sweet potato brownie or chickpea blondie, and I have ice cream. And now my score would be 10, and I'm actually happy with 10 because I'm happy with like my body weight and my figures. So I'm not looking to get better at that. But if that was down around a 6, I might be like, and I'm feeling guilty, I might be like, well, what can I do to plan more of my meals? Can I make sure that I maybe cook on a few days, put stuff in Tupperware, cook more veg, and we'll be putting out different meals as well to help with that. Okay, the next one then is healthy hydration. Just making sure this is still running. Sorry now. Yeah, grand. That'd be free to have it stopped. All right, healthy hydration. So if you don't drink water, I don't drink enough fluids, but I don't drink enough fluids, but I don't drink more than a glass or a bottle of water daily. So if you drink less than like 1.5 liters, put yourself in the average. I drink 1.5 liters of water every day, and rarely if ever have headaches, feel thirsty, or suffer any of the other negative effects. That'd be very good. Then the last one would be I wake up and drink water with lemon juice to rehydrate myself, and consistently drink water throughout the day as my primary beverage, getting at least 1.5 liters of water, not including my exercise. I would say about 11, and I'm happy with 11 there. Okay, regular exercise, but again, this is just maybe just pick one of these. Like, you know what, things are good, but my hydration's poor. I'm going to try to get from a 4 to like an 8. Regular exercise, then I don't have time. You're not allowed in this group if you're training 1 to 2 times per week, so it shouldn't influence many people. I should make it this harder as well. So I would say if I could carve out 30 minutes about 3 to 4 times per week, if I had to, but sometimes always seems to come up, so I skip it. Or if I have like say 30 to 60 minutes at least 3 days per week, and know I can train, but I'm confused about what to do to best use the time. And then time's not an issue. I have 30 to 90 minutes per day to get all my training in and recover. Okay, so if you're about 2 to 3 times a week, but you skip it here. If you're 3 times a week to 4 times a week, 30 to 60 minutes, but you don't know what you're doing. And again, I'm going to put up like sample training plans for people just to give you a structure. Like you can't wake up every day thinking, what will I do today? Your discipline just goes out the window then, because you just need to know what you're doing and plan around that. Is it get up early? Is it do it in lunchtime? Is it just do it when you get home? So that you're kind of consistent. Now again, I'd be 12 and 12 because I have my own coach for that, to make sure that I have all my training planned. I'm not trying to be a good great guy here, but it's just there's other ones that I'm way down on. Okay, positive mindset then is just like, how are you feeling about yourself? Are you feeling frustrated when how you look and you feel? Or are you feeling like you can take one step forward, one step back? You're generally okay, but you're not 100% satisfied. It's just looking at these things and thinking, right, well, that gives you an indication there's something else here that you need to change then. Okay, then the next one will be mobility and core strength. If you feel stiff and often experience discomfort in areas like your low back, your neck, your shoulders, and you don't have if you just feel like you don't have core strength, give yourself a 1, 2, or 3. If you wake up and feel stiff, but after a little movement you can get going, joints are achy in parts of the day, but you feel like you've okay core strength as well, give yourself a 4, 5, or 6. You feel like you move well, there's no aches or pains to speak of, and you have decent core strength, then give yourself 7, 8, or 9. And lastly, you feel great, you can move better than most teenagers, you feel strong in your body. And again, with the sports Pilates, that's going to be a big thing that we're going to try to get you up into here. Training frequency then is, again, you really want to be training like 4 to 5 times per week. So with that then, the first one, again, that you train 0 to 2 times per week, and it can be inconsistent at that. Again, you're not in the group if you're doing that. I train 3 to 4 times per week, most weeks, but sometimes I don't make that. And again, that's that inconsistent one at the moment, that you can get it, but you can be inconsistent with it. I can train consistently 4 to 5 times per week. That's very good. And then I train over 5 times or more per week, and I'm consistent with this. And that's what we want to get you to. Like, you're kind of kidding yourself. You want to get to about 5 times a week to see real change. 6 times would be ideal, really. Okay, and then in addition to the frequency, the intensity of training is really important. Okay, so the ideal here is you should be having like between 2 to 3 workouts per week of good intensity. And what I mean by good intensity is that you're concentrating on the effort that you're doing. You're not just like talking or spaced out. Now you need your easy runs or your recovery runs, but you need sessions in your week that would be either threshold sessions. They don't have to be 100% flat out. They just need to be where you're not able to hold a full conversation and you're concentrating on what you're supposed to be doing. So poor would be you're not doing any, so that's 1 to 3. Average would be 1, which would be 4 to 6. Good to average would be 7 to 10, or 7 to 9, 6 to 9, is it? Sorry, I'm running myself. Yeah, 7 to 9. Then the last one here is what we want. 3 good workouts spread evenly through the week. The intensity is deliberate. Every day that you go out, you know what you're doing. Is it a recovery run? Is it an aerobic run? Is it a sports Pilates? Is it a gym? So you kind of know what you're doing with your training. You're being deliberate about it. It's not just randomly what you're thinking that day. You're not just doing your normal loop the whole time, because you can get stuck in a rut. You won't just improve that way. You need to stress your body specifically to allow adaptation to occur. That's the general adaptation syndrome, if you ever just want to look that up. All right, the next one then is mobility, stability, and restoration. I do no classes like Pilates or foam rolling or active recovery. I do some Pilates moves, so that'll be obviously poor. If you do some Pilates moves, foam rolling, but it's inconsistent, and again, you're going to get a lot of people who do that. They're like, oh yeah, I do a bit of core or a bit of plank, or I do a little bit of bridge, but it's like whenever they feel like it, and they go up to the room for maybe 5 minutes, they do a little bit and then they leave. So again, it's something that people need to focus on, but a lot of times it's the thing that we fall down on. And that's why I did the class, because I initially started it for people who had, well, I was doing it for myself basically, and then I did it for my patients who were injury free now. But then what I found was they just would never do any kind of rehab after they're injury free, so it was just a good way to have at least 1 hour per week where they were working on a lot of the weaknesses, working on their core strength, their movement, just to rebalance their body after, like, say, sitting and day-to-day life. So it was just really important to get that. So again, anyone in the group, as I said, I'm on your ass to make sure that you are doing your hour, and we have our foam rolling challenges. So that's the ideal. And then I do 1 or more hours of sports Pilates and get regular massage or foam rolling. So if you're doing your sports Pilates, the 1 hour, brilliant. And then, maybe that supplementary sports Pilates that we give, that extra half an hour here, or you do some of the foam rolling videos that we give out, then give yourself 10, 11, 12. So I'd say a lot of you are definitely going between 9, 10, 11. And don't be overly harsh on yourself. If you're getting your hour done, you're doing very well there. Okay, the next one then is a support system. Really quickly, you got no support, you have very small your family and friends support, but they don't help you. Like, they don't make healthy choices with you. Your family's friends will support your efforts, and they make some small changes sometimes, or you have a phenomenal support system. And why that's important is, again, that's kind of what I'm trying to develop with the group. It's like with our WhatsApp and our Facebook, and even just emailing to people who don't want to be on social media or get annoyed with WhatsApp. It's just you need someone to. They say you're the average of the 5 people you hang out with the most, so you need to know that this is normal. If all that you hang out with are people who just go out drinking, and look, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's like, that's what you're going to consider normal. You're going to consider normal to go to bed at like 3 a.m. and just sleep off, the whole of Sunday. But you need you need something to keep you healthy as well. You need to kind of be able to clock into a group, so where you realize, all right, yeah, look, I need to, like, that's where the challenges and stuff like that are really helpful, because you can see people, if we do our drink water challenge or our foam roll or our taking a stand against sitting down, like our desk kind of work, you can see you get little thumbs up or people saying, yeah, that was a tough Pilates class, glad to have that done, glutes are burning, or core feels great after that. And you kind of see, yeah, look, there's people doing this, and it kind of allows you to see it's normal then to do this and to continue. Or you can see the videos that we put up on nutrition or whatever else, and you can kind of just make healthier habits because you can see other people doing the same. So you just need a kind of support system. And again, if your family are on board, brilliant. If not, we'll be a good support system for you anyway. And then lastly is planning and awareness. Again, this is just important. I was working on one of the newsletters there today, and I came up, it was really good quote. It's like, motivation will get you started, but habits will keep you going. And that's so true, because like, I don't have great motivation every day, but just because I'm used to going out for a run, or I'm used to doing my Pilates or my gym, it would just feel weird not to do it. So you need a plan. Like, you need to write down exactly what you're doing. So if you never put any plans for change, don't know what you're working on, or average, you're aware of some things that could be improving, and you've seen approaches that might work, but you've never gotten around to moving on them. If you have a good idea of what your challenges are, like what you're poor at and what you might change, and you're open to putting a plan together, and then you know exactly what issues you have, and you have a thought out plan. And again, that's why I give those sample weeks of training. If you have a coach, brilliant, because it can be just individual to you, but at least then you have a sample week that, look, just follow this week. It'll keep you healthier than 90%, 95% of the population out there. Okay, so again, look, it's not about getting all 12s on this, but it's just about making you aware of, maybe what ones you need to work on, or is there some things that you can, maybe if it's like your sleep is really poor, you're like, I'm going to actually try, like, I love getting a nap and stuff, like, I really value sleep. So if I'm 10 here, I might try to get to 11 or a 12, because that's something I really value. Maybe, as I said, in nutrition, I'm a 10 and I'm happy with a 10, because it's like, I'm happy with where I'm at on that. So just go through it. There'll be ones that you feel are important to you and you're poor at, and maybe just start at them, writing down what could you do. And if you have any questions, you can just send me an email and I can try help you. Okay, hope that cleared that up a little bit.